Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. My name is Leon Jones, and I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to give my commentary after I get into this article. And I'm going to give you an objective approach to the differences between a democracy and a republic. Because I heard a debate last night. They mentioned democracy. Kamala Harris mentions democracy. But do any of these individuals really know what a democracy is? Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we're going to talk about a democracy, the difference between democracy and republic. And you're going to get the information explained here in detail, and I will leave the link in my description under the video. So this topic is important from the perspective of the Indian polity syllabus, because when we deal with democracy, democracy is a form of government in which the people have the authority to choose their governing legislation. Now, the word republic is derived from the Latin term res publica. It is a form of government in which the country is considered a public matter. So the difference between democracy and republic given here can help the UPSC civil service exam individuals who are aspiring to work for the government or who need to understand civics. It's going to give them something to have a conversation about, because they're going to know what the real meanings of democracy and republic are. Now, again, difference between democracy and republic. As we look at democracy right here, democracy is a Greek word, demo, kratos, three major types: people, republic, Latin, res publica. Again, it's Latin, that's res publica. Five major types: individual, citizens. So here's the breakdown. The major difference between democracy and republic are: when we have a democracy is an Athenian democracy in Greece, is an early example of democracy. Republic, the early example of republic is the Roman Republic from 510 BC to 27 BC. Now, there are three major types of democracies. You have a direct democracy, a representative democracy, and a constitutional democracy. And you have five types of republics, and there are constitutional republic, parliamentary republic, presidential republic, theocratic republic, federal republic. Now, this is what you need to listen to, because you have a number of your politicians out here who really don't understand the word democracy. So you have to listen to this. Now, they are closely related, but they're not. The real differences are: in a democracy, the power is in the hands of the people. But who are the people? Are the people the government? Are the people us? That's what you have to look at. And when you hear people like Hillary Clinton, Tim Walz, Kamala Harris talk about a threat to democracy, they're talking about people being the government. Well, if you leave anything to the government, now you are basically bringing on socialism and communism, because in a republic, the power is in the hands of individual people. Now, we are individual people. republic. We're a constitutional republic. That means we elect our representatives under the Constitution of America. Now, in a democracy, which is a democratic system, laws are made by the majority, which, if you really look at what we have right now, it could be considered a democracy if we look at it based on race and, of course, gender. Why do I say that? Because the majority of the people running this whole country are white males. Yeah, you may hear that, oh, yeah, we're giving women a chance. Yes, you are. But the white males are the majority of people in power. So they call all the shots. Now, a problem with any democracy is when you have the majority, the minority is never going to get an opportunity because it's based on the majority rules. So the democracy basically protects people who are the majority. Now, this is why we have a different kind of system. We are not a democracy. See, in a Republican system or a republic, laws are made by the elected representatives of the people. So you have democracy, which is the majority, and you have the republic, which is representatives by the people. Now, let's stop and think about that now. We elect representatives. Now, are we a complete democracy? Well, depending on what the ingredients are. Or are we a complete republic? Or are we a democratic republic? Because if I'm looking at everything, if you think about it, if they get rid of the filibuster in Congress, guess what? Then you have a democracy, but you also have a republic. And here's why. Because the representatives who are in the Senate and Congress are representatives of us. So if the Republicans have the majority and there's no filibuster, well, guess what? Then we have a system that is democratic when it comes to party because the majority rules. They make the laws. And they're going to make the laws based on the party. So partisanship can take what we have as a republic and turn it into a democracy, although our representatives are voted in by us. And this is where we get intertwined between a democracy and a republic. Now, here's something that you need to know. This is why the filibuster exists, because in a democracy, the will of the majority has the right to override the existing rights. So basically, if you think about it, if you have rights, but you're not the majority, in a democracy, your rights can be overridden. Now, in a republic system, the will of the majority cannot be overridden since the Constitution will protect the rights. So again, if you look at everything, you have to really look at it closely and find different situations to where we are a republic or democracy. Because if you really look at the United States as a whole, We're not pure capitalists, although we promote capitalism. I believe that the United States has a dual system because, on one hand, we have a lot of social programs, that's the safety net. Our tax monies go to fund some of these programs so we can help people. Our monies go to pay for government workers. Well, when we're subsidizing housing, healthcare, that's socialism. Now, when we own private property and we own real estate, which is a commodity, then that's capitalism. So if you really think about the system, we're supposed to be a republic, but we have some democracies within the republic because, in actuality, when it comes to Congress, see, the president is elected as well, but the president cannot put forth through his agenda unless it goes through Congress. See, Congress holds the purse strings. Now, the president can utilize the powers given to him by Congress, but also Congress can amend the Constitution. The president can't. So if you think about it, the president does have powers, but the Congress has a lot of power. They can run as many times as they want. They can be elected as many times as they want. This is why Joe Biden has done 50 plus years in government. Now, in a democracy, a country can have more than one type of democracy. And in a republic, a country can have more than one type of republic. Now, in a democracy, there are no constraints on the government. In a republic, there are constraints on the government. Now, this is where the government can say, we're the people, we're the body, we're the majority. They can say that. This is why when you listen to Harris and Walz talk, they're talking from a government perspective. When they say Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, Donald Trump is a threat to their power because they believe they are the democracy. Although the government is represented and elected by us, they think that they have the power to do anything they want over us. Well, the constraint is the president can be impeached. The vice president, I believe, can be impeached as well. But even beyond that, we have three branches of government in a republic. And those three branches of government are utilized so it creates a balance, a check and balance system within the government. In a democracy, you don't have that. So that means government officials can run amok. Now, in a democracy, the main focus is on the will of the people. Whereas in a republic, the main focus is on the Constitution. So basically, with the Constitution is based off of somewhat Christianity. This is why you hear Constitution come out of people. Now, not just the federales have a constitution or the country has a constitution, but each state has a constitution. So here's what I'm going to say. There are these, what I just gave you, these are the main differences between democracy and republic. So, after learning about the democracy and republic difference, it is better to know the details of differences between presidential and parliamentary form of government, difference between Indian and US government, an overview of the Constitution of India, types of majorities in the Indian Parliament, table of precedents in the Republic of India thoroughly. Also understand the roles of civil services in democracies. And in the Constitution, you get preambles. Of course, the differences between the Indian and US government, there are differences between presidential and parliamentary forms of government. Now, bottom line, frequently asked questions about democracy and republic. Well, what are the points of difference between a democracy and a republic? Well, the two great points of difference between a democracy and a republic are, first, the delegation of the government, and the latter to a small number of citizens elected by the rest. Secondly, the greater number of citizens and greater sphere of country over which the latter may be extended. So, what is a democratic republic? Now, this is where the United States could be close because the democratic republic is a form of government operating on principles adopted from a republic and a democracy. What are the three types of democracy? Well, there are three major types of democracy. You have a direct democracy, a representative democracy, and a constitutional democracy. And what are the five types of republics that are what we call here in America, here in Europe? What are the five types of republics? Well, you have the constitutional republic, the parliamentary republic, presidential republic, the federal republic, and a theocratic republic. And when something is theocratic, there's religion involved, like a theocracy. Generally, you're going to see that over in the Middle East. So, what are the early examples of a democratic country and a republic country? Well, republic comes from Rome. And if you look at Italy now, a lot of our government is similar to how Italy runs their government. Italy is a republic. Now, while Athenian democracy, that's more or less Greek. And that's an early example of democracy in Greek. Now that I've given you an overview or an objective view, and again, I will post that link under my description in my video so you get a better understanding of a democracy. And feel free to put in more information. I'm just giving you a little bit more of an objective because I'm hearing that word used a lot during this campaign. Now, let's get into the debate last night. Now, I know there are some people out here who believe that J.D. Vance missed going in even harder on Tim Walz. Now, I saw the debate. It was more or less civil. Now, where did Vance make a mistake is when real estate came out. And I want you all to know something. When we deal with real estate, when we deal with this as a phone, when we deal with this as a mouse, it's a commodity. Now, a commodity is a product that is produced, and sold for profit. Land is a commodity. Real estate is a commodity. This is why developers, they want to build in certain places. It's their job to sell houses. And where Vance made his mistake last night, I guess he got off a little bit when Tim Walz said he's been in one house for a long time. Well, that's all on him. But in the United States, under commodities, they could be tangible or intangible. And what I mean by tangible means something that is basically physical, like this calculator here. This is a tangible item. Now, if I have a service that's intangible, but it operates the same way as a commodity does. Now, some more points that I picked up during the debate. No, they talked about the border. And Tim Walz, I will say this, he was a bit rusty. The media tried to help him out. The media couldn't help him out. In fact, he slipped himself when the media said, fact check Vance. He said, I'm not going to fact check. But Vance was all over the media. See, here's the difference. When Vance debated last night, he knows how to deal with the media. He didn't get as irate with the media like Trump does. But what Vance did that was very clever, he explained down to the nth degree in layman's terms, what Donald Trump is going to do. The problem with Vance, he listened so much to Kamala Harris, they want to go back to what was done after COVID. Well, Trump did everything he could during COVID. Remember, COVID or Rona was worldwide. But you have a public out here, and I'm going to just put this out here, that debate is not going to sway many of us. And right now, you should know who you're going to vote for. Ones that really don't know shouldn't be voting. We have a lot of people who are low informed or no informed voters. But going over that debate, it was a very civil debate. And it is nothing wrong with shaking hands with your opposition. You see, one thing that we've gotten away with or from in politics is it's become very, very partisan. And I will say this, it's because of the Democrats. And the Democrats do want censorship. They'll tell you they won't, but you hear the Hillbot, Hillary Clinton, getting up there on MSNBC saying that Trump is a threat to democracy. Now, should her rhetoric be protected? Sure. But if I went out and said something nasty about Hillary, should my speech be protected? Sure, but it won't. Because see, what the Democrats want, they want free speech to be on their liking. I mean, I hear Kamala Harris talking about censorship. Oh, we ought to censor people. Well, her dumb ideas like price controls, and if you think about it, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they want government to pay for everything. And see, what Tim Walz missed, Donald Trump said that he's going to keep Obamacare in place until they come up with something better. Everybody knows that Obamacare isn't that good, but it's something that Obama put in because he had Congress and they went behind closed doors, the Democrats, without any input from the Republicans back in 2010. And this is what we got. I remember the old PPOs and the HMOs. Well, we need more competition in the insurance industry. You see, competition can help keep prices down. And this is what individuals don't understand too. The Democrats, they're saying, well, tariffs. A tariff is a tax that you're imposing on another country for having their goods imported into your country. And see, what Kamala Harris wants is socialism, communism. Tim Walz wants it as well. Tim Walz was saying, my state, my state is number one. No, your state isn't number one. Your state is the one that, when you were governor, going to George Floyd back in 2020, Minneapolis burned down. Minnesota has always been liberal. I mean, Mondale is from Minnesota. Minnesota hasn't been red since 72. The bottom line is this. When you debate, you need to know how to sell your information to people. There is a contrast between the two campaigns. One wants government to run everything, but they're talking about equity. Well, when you have equity, you're taking something from somebody to give it to somebody else who hasn't worked for it. Now, I like the fact that the debate it showed two men. Even though Napoleon Tim lied, it was still a civil debate. Now, Harris wants another debate, but see, Harris, her problem is she doesn't want to come in to the lion's den where people like me or people like Fox News or News Nation or Right Side Broadcasting or Candace Owens or Anton. She doesn't want to come into that arena. And to me, that's troubling. Why? Because you want to escape people who are against you. And I'll be honest with you, a number of people out there don't like Trump, nor do they like Kamala Harris. But you have to look at Trump's record. The action is out there. Trump, he gave money to HBCUs. Gas was cheaper. We had jobs. Kamala's trying to say they had all these jobs. They might have a lot of job openings, but remember, you still have openings from people who never went back to work from COVID. That's fact. They didn't create 1 million jobs. You might have 1 million openings, and the jobs that were probably created were government jobs. And why are government jobs created? Number one, government provides a service. Government doesn't make money at all. I know, I work for the government. Government jobs are not bad jobs, but you have people who retire from the government. Now, government employees pay taxes too. People forget that as well. Government employees pay taxes, particularly the rank and file like me. But bottom line, Walz, since he doesn't go out there and interview too much, He did look like a deer in headlights. This is why he was writing everything down. Now, again, the number two person is basically supposed to convince individuals that the person who's actually on the ballot that they're voting for, their policies. And Vance did a much better job explaining his policies. Now, also, Waltz went to China. I wish Vance had hit him on. You said you went to Tiananmen Square back in 1989. What did you do there? And this is where Vance made his mistake. But I will tell you this: we all make mistakes. I make mistakes. Didn't see everything. And the bottom line, debates are supposed to give you an idea of where the two sides are. Now, again, Harris and Waltz are really left. Won't vote for them. And the problem with Harris and even Waltz, they don't understand the economy. I mean, when I'm hearing Waltz and Harris saying that tariffs will balloon, will not balloon wages, or it'll put us they'll put us further in debt. How is somebody giving me money going to put me further in debt? What puts us in debt is how you spend the money. Now, you want to stop spending money. Here's how it can work. And here's what Vance was doing to make light of Trump's policies. Well, if you bring back the XL pipeline, you bring back fracking, well, now you have the energy sector. And when the energy sector is operating, then it brings down prices in other markets. Why? Because we all have to use gas. Okay. Electric cars. Kamala Harris, Tim Waltz, they want regulations where we get rid of gas powered vehicles. Well, I like a gas powered vehicle. Now, drive a hybrid. But the bottom line is most of us can't afford electric vehicles. Then they have to build a lot of charging stations. I know there was a charging station that was built here in the Midwest. It was $9 billion. That's a lot of money. And when you utilize electric vehicles, you have to constantly charge electric vehicles. Well, many of us don't want a lot of regulations. And when you involve government in every aspect of your life, you cannot breathe. I don't understand why the media is covering up for the Democrats, because I certainly didn't trust CBS. But see, Vance did not let the media get under his skin like Trump did. Because Vance knows how to deal with the media. Now, Waltz, nobody said anything about his military record. Nobody said anything about his drunk driving charge. Nobody said anything about Vance's military record. Now, the big issue when it comes to deleting babies. First of all, the states now have that issue. See, what Kamala Harris wants the government to rule everything. See, we're a republic, but she wants to put Washington. She really wants Washington to control the economy. That won't work. That's why she wants price controls. She doesn't understand with price controls, you make it very difficult for businesses to make money. You also make it difficult for businesses to hire people. We don't need price controls. What we need is you lower the tax rate, I like the no tax on overtime that Trump proposed. You lower the energy costs. You stop spending money on useless wars, and you bring in those tariffs that can help bring more money into our country, and then you will see prices drive will go down. Now, you also have this situation, they briefly talked about it, the strike that's going on with the supply chain out here. Well, that's going to affect everything because it's going to be in the media right now. But then when we get further down the line, it's going to get even worse because the prices are going to go up. Now, you have to understand basic economics. When there is a demand for something but not enough supply, then the prices are going to be higher. When you have a supply, a large supply, the prices are going to be lower. And right now, the cost of goods and sales is up. And this is what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz don't understand. You cannot bring the economy in front of them. Many of these Democrats have worked in government all their lives. They don't understand about business. They don't understand anything about business because their lives have been subsidized. So basically, looking at the debate, it was a civil debate, but Vance did win that debate. He knew how to control the issues. Now, nobody is going to be perfect on the debate stage. Now, again, when you're dealing with real estate and houses, they are commodities. Again, it's just like buying a car, it's a commodity. When you have a product, you produce that product and you sell that product for money. That's how it works. Everything is not just put on paper with a blank check. That's what the government does. They write a lot of blank checks. They also talked about election integrity. Well, bottom line here is this. There should be integrity in elections. Individuals who should not be in this country should not be allowed to vote. I know in Arizona, they're allowing 98,000 migrants to vote, unless that's challenged again. That's Kerry Lake's state. Also, you want to bring the prices down too? Stop doing everything for these migrants. That's the problem. Money is going to them. I'm glad Trump said for our seniors, no taxes on Social Security. Like what he said about tips. No taxes on tips. No taxes on overtime. Sometimes, well, I don't want to say sometimes, a lot of times you need to give people more of their money back and they will spend it because the more money that goes in the economy and the more houses people buy, well, the electric companies are going to get paid, or the utility companies, the cable companies, the banks are going to get paid. This is why a house is a commodity. You're going to be paying insurance companies because that house for $400,000 to $800,000 is going to produce some heavy payments. Property tax, everybody's going to get paid. But the bottom line is this. During the debate, it did show me that Walz and Harris don't understand a thing about the economy. They really want people to come into this country. And they want people to come into this country because they want to get the Democrats more votes so it will change the outcome of future elections. Talking about a $6,000 tax credit. Well, for the most part, if you give people back more of their money, you let the families decide where the money is going to be spent. It really isn't the citizen's job to provide child care for other people's children. It's not. And with the deleting babies, I believe the advocates for deleting babies, they really want all of us to pay for their deletions. I mean, you have individuals that want us to pay for individuals who want to become transformers. See, this is all of the government. It's how they take money from us. Well, when you start taking money from us, you ruin an economy. We don't want to overburden government. So again, looking at that debate, yes, Trump did pick a pretty decent guy. Waltz was not a decent guy. He looked like a deer in headlights. Certainly, he talks about being from the Midwest. But you can be from the Midwest, but it's your thinking. Your thinking is like the coastal thinking. Most of those people from the East Coast and West Coast, they're lefties. They don't know anything about what goes on in the farm because they're busy drinking their liberal lattes with the pinky up. I call them liberal lattes. They're lattes and they're drinks that we can't pronounce. They're living the high life, but they don't know where the products come. They don't know where the products are coming from because of their high life, of living their high life. Well, I'm getting tongue twisted like Kamala Harris. Going back to what I said, they want to live the high life, but they don't know where these products come from to produce these products so they can live the high life. They don't know where filet mignon comes from. They don't know where a lot of these steaks come from. Well, they don't care because they don't do the work. Many of them are spending boatloads of money on brand name items. They're very materialistic. And the problem I see with the left is they think they're smarter than the right because they have the degrees. Degrees don't make you smart. Degrees, they give you an education that is basically fostered by your instructor. So you're basically regurgitating the information that they tell you to remember. But in the end, I just wanted to give you a more objective case on democracy and a republic. Also wanted to give you my overview of this video. I may have gone all around because I'm a little tired tonight, but it is Wednesday. I try to produce a video every Wednesday here on the 401 Talk Zone radio show channel. What I'm doing is waking people up. And where I want you to really look at everything closely, check out the media. Start checking the media because the media is still lying for the Harris Waltz campaign. All these ads are lying. Do not believe the media or do not believe the polls. I mean, Harris is already down there with the hurricane. Trump had already donated 25 million of his dollars to help. What has Harris Biden done? Nothing yet. Harris is down there, but being down there doesn't mean anything unless you do something. And see, Harris and Biden, because they're so used to dealing with the coasts, they don't understand how people in the South and Midwest work. In fact, down there with that hurricane, you have a number of people helping each other out. And that's what people from the country and the small towns do. People from the city and suburbs are your selfish people. If something happened to them, they'd expect to be helped. But a lot of them don't have any skills because they're selfish. They're all about themselves. They live materialistic lives. They're running on, I have this, I have that. Doesn't mean anything. When a catastrophe strikes, there's a number of those individuals down there. They had money, they had jobs. Some of them perished. But in the end, pay attention to what's going on. Don't listen to what the media is telling you because the media is trying to cover everything up so Harris can look good. This is why they want Harris to avoid Fox News, News Nation, Newsmax, because if she comes over to my side of the aisle, we're going to ask her tough questions. She's not going to be able to get away with everything. This is why she wants a debate with Trump on CNN, because CNN is going to cover for her. Trump asked her to debate on Fox. See, she keeps saying that Trump is afraid to debate her. No, she wants to debate him where she's comfortable. But in the role of a president, you're going to be put in roles that are not going to make you comfortable. And this is why we don't want women in power, because they want the title. They don't want the responsibility. They love to delegate. But if something blows up in their face, they're going to blame it on the people that, in their mind, caused the issue. See, it's easy to delegate something. It's easy to say something is good when you got the people to do the work for you. But when it goes bad, that's where you have to use some judgment. So, like I said, I don't think the Harris-Walz campaign is going to be good leadership for this country. But you know what this is. Tell me what you think. If you're voting for Harris-Walz, tell me why you're voting for Harris-Walz. If you're voting for Trump-Vance, tell me why you're voting for Trump-Vance. Who won the debate? In your mind. But in the end, you have to ask yourself this. Do you want to continue having freedom, or do you want tyranny? The choice is yours. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for some STEM content, check out my second channel, the QCIS channel. On that channel, I'll give you a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, here's where you can find me. The 411 Talk Zone radio show. When I record all of my videos, I will post those videos again from the 411 Talk Zone radio show on my X page. Now I'm on Rumble and also Truth Social. Rumble's a little slow uploading videos, but the videos are there. Now for the QCIS channel, I also post videos on that channel, the QCIS channel, on X and of course LinkedIn. And in the end, be blessed for what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Always know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. And if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if the shoe fits, wear it. If you don't like the shoe, change it. And once again, thank you for listening to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. I want you all to have a wonderful, gracious evening. God bless you. I'm out.